A client recently asked me a question that I think a lot of photographers struggle with when they are trying to sell their photography prints. He told me that when he sets up an event, people stop and ask him questions and buy his work. But when he puts the same photography in a group show or exhibit, the sales are not there. And he couldn't figure it out why. So we chatted about it. The photography hadn't changed. The pricing hadn't changed. The work was exactly the same. So what was the difference? The more we talked about it, the more I realized this isn't just a print sale problem. It's something many photographers run into when they're trying to build a photography business. Maybe you've experienced it yourself. People tell you they love your work. They compliment your images. They spend time looking through your portfolio. But when it comes time to actually buy your photography, your offers, your services, something gets in the way. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because if you ever wondered why your photography sells in some situations, but not others, there are reasons for this that you're overlooking.
Welcome to Capture and Connect. Insight, challenges, and proven strategies to help you take your passion for photography and turn it into an income-generating business. And now here's your host, Janice Sullivan.
As I thought more about my client's situation, I realized something. He wasn't really asking why people weren't buying. He was asking, why did they buy in one situation and not in the other? And those are two different questions. We as photographers spend our time trying to figure out what's wrong when we don't sell. Is it the website, pricing, am I marketing wrong? Or the worst one, is my photography not good enough to sell? But in this case, I don't think that's where the answer lives because his sales are already happening, right? But we still feel bad if we're not selling in a different environment. And yet people are buying. The real question is, what helped create that sale in the first place? Why did they pull out their wallet and give you their credit card? What helped them make a decision? Because if we can understand that part of the process, we can start bringing more of it into the rest of our photography business. And that's where I think things start to get interesting. So let's look at what is happening when my client was making sales. At the event, people had time with the work. They could stand in front of it. They could see the size, the color, the detail, and how the print felt in person. Then a conversation usually started. Someone asked where the image was taken. Another person says, I love this flower. The photographer, my client, says yes, and I had to pull a lot of thorns out of my skin to get that shot, right? You can relate to that. So his client pulls out her wallet and says, I want it. There's also conversations about where would this be in their home, over a couch, in an office, or as a gift to somebody that they love because of the feelings that they're having at that moment. That matters because before most people buy photography, services, offers that you have, they need more than a price. They need a reason to care and they want to trust you with their credit card. That's a biggie. They need to understand what this piece will bring into their life. And to know the actual photographer who created that piece is icing on the cake. You see how an event or a live environment happens naturally, right? The artwork is there. The photographer is there. The buyer can slow down, ask questions, and imagine the piece beyond the table or the wall. That's very different from seeing a photograph with a title, a size, and a price. And this is where we miss the bigger lesson, the big picture. The sale did not happen only because the image was beautiful. It happened because the buyer had enough information, comfort, and interest to make a decision. And I wanted to say something here before we go any further. If you're listening to this and thinking, Janice, I don't sell at events, I don't do booths, I don't get to talk to buyers face to face, please do not drop off. This still matters to you because the lesson is not that you have to sell in person. The lesson is that buyers need help making a decision. That help can happen at an event, but it also can happen on your website, in your emails, on social media, through a video, in a workshop description, or even in a way you present your licensing work. So if you're not selling face to face, this part is even more important because your words, photos, videos, and presentations have to do more of the work for you. So if buyers need more than a photograph, what do we do with that information? The first thing is to stop expecting the image to do all of the work. I know that sounds obvious, but many photographers, myself included, put an image online, add a title, add a price, and hopes the right person finds it. Sometimes that works. Most of the time, though, buyers need a little bit more help. Think about the questions people ask when they're standing in front of your work. Where was it taken? What inspired you to photograph it, especially if these people know you? How large can I get this print? What does it look like framed? Would it work in my home, office, or business? Those questions are clues. They're showing you exactly what buyers need to know before making a decision. So start looking at your business through that lens, through their eyes, their feelings, their emotions. If someone lands on your website, are those questions being answered? If your work is hanging at a group exhibit, is there information available beyond the title card? If you're licensing photography, does the buyer understand how your work could be used in their space? If you're selling workshops, does someone understand the experience they'll have with you? Their questions are different depending on the person, right? Yes, these questions are different depending on what you sell. So let's say you're teaching post-processing workshops. Your buyers probably aren't asking, where was this photograph taken? Instead, they're asking things like, can I actually learn this? Is this class for beginners or advanced photographers? Will I be able to follow along? Do I need Lightroom, Photoshop, or both? Will my images actually improve? Am I too far behind to join? What if I'm not very tech savvy? That was mine all the time. I'm not a techie person. And another big one is, do I have enough experience to get value from this workshop? Now think about what those questions are really saying. They're not asking whether the workshop exists. They're trying to decide if it's right for them. They're looking for enough information to feel comfortable moving forward. And that's exactly what the print buyer is doing. Different questions, same process. The print buyer is trying to decide if the artwork belongs in their life. The workshop buyer is trying to decide if the experience belongs in their life. Both are looking for clarity before they make a decision. And when we understand that, it changes the way we represent what we do. For me, this changes the way I look at selling photography, because instead of asking, how do I get more people to buy? I start asking, what information do people need before they are comfortable buying from me? That's a very different question. When someone isn't moving forward, I don't immediately assume the price is wrong. I don't automatically assume they don't like the work. I start looking for the gaps. What questions or concerns do they have? What information would help them feel more confident in what they're getting and buying from me? Sometimes that answer is a better description, a testimonial, a video, or showing your work in a real environment. Sometimes it's simply explaining something we've assumed people already understand. And the more I pay attention to those questions, the easier it becomes to improve the buying experience. Not because I'm trying to convince someone, but because I'm helping them make a decision. And I think that's an important distinction. I know you don't want to feel pushy or salesy. I'm the same way, but helping someone make a confident decision is very different from pressuring them into one. And once I understood that, it changed the way I looked at marketing, selling, websites, workshops, licensing, and just about every other part of my business. That's why it was an excellent question, and I was so happy he brought this up. And with that said, let's go back to my client for a minute. At first, he thought he had a sale problem, but after looking a little deeper, I don't think that was the real issue. People were already buying from him. The challenge wasn't getting someone to love his work. The challenge was helping people understand enough about the work to make a decision when he wasn't standing there beside them. And I think that's a lesson all of us can learn, whether you're selling prints, licensing your photography, leading workshops, creating products, or building another part of your photography business that I have no idea what you're doing, but it's your mission in life. I want you to know your buyers are asking questions, not always out loud, but they are asking them. And the more clearly we understand those questions, the easier it becomes for people to move forward. Remember, we are helping them understand what they're getting by feeling. People pay for feelings, and that's what we do. So this week, I want to leave you with a simple question. What questions might your buyers have that you're not answering yet? Take a look at your website. Take a look at your artist statement if you have one. Take a look at your workshop description, your exhibition information, social media posts, or wherever you're presenting your work. Where might someone still be confused? Where might they need a little bit more clarity? Because sometimes the difference between interest and a sale isn't the photograph. It's the information that helps someone feel comfortable making a decision. Next week, I want to build upon this conversation in a bigger way, because one of the things I hear photographers say is my work should speak for itself. And I understand why they say that. But as a photographer and as a business owner, a creative business owner, I don't fully agree. So next week, we're going to talk about what I think is one of the biggest mistakes photographers make when talking about their photography. And this one matters to you, to me, and to our community. If today's conversation got you thinking about the questions your buyers might still have, I put together something that can help. I have revamped a marketing checkoff list because I've listened to your questions. I understand you. And a lot of times when we don't get the sale, we jump from idea to idea and we don't have a plan. So I made this checkoff list for you. It's a simple guide to help you see what pieces of your marketing already are in place and what might be missing. I'll leave the link down below. I'll see you next week at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube because this is a premiere and I've been hanging out with you guys in the chat. And I would love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. Leave a comment down below. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. You have a great week. See you soon. Cheers, my friend. If you would like to get show notes, links that I talk about in the episode, and a bunch of other goodness like freebies to help you build your photography business, then head on over to photobizmethod.com. PHOTOBIZMETHOD.com. See you there.